And we're live with at Fiddy85 today. Say hello.
Hey guys, what's up, everyone?
So let's start with the first question, which is how did you get into Gamergate?
Well, I knew about GamerGate a little bit around, I guess, the whole Zoe Quinn blog post. I didn't really get involved though. I was still a lurker in the background. The first thing I was like, "Oh, that's messed up," but I mean, I expected there's always corruption and whatnot in gaming journalism. But what actually got me involved was when they released all those articles about gamers are dead, and even then, I was still a lurker. I didn't really get involved. It's until they started censoring the comments and the whole fiasco with Reddit and 4chan. That's when my blood started boiling, and that's when I started getting involved in GamerGate. I'm really anti censorship, so yeah. So
Oh,
that's pretty much when I got involved.
all right. So looking at the present of Gamergate, what do you think of it in its current form?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I had something.
Oh, what do you think of Gamergate right now?
I kind of agree with Sargon in the sense that I think we've accomplished in the way that we have reformed ethics in gaming journalism. I think deep freeze is an amazing tool, and I think it's something we should keep a lookout. I do feel like there's a lot more to keep going. I do believe we need to be a watchdog in gaming journalism. Maybe have like once a year, like a review of how gaming journalism has done, maybe a score ranking system, like they've improved by so such and such, so we're giving them like a point positive or we're giving them a negative. I think that would be something interesting. But besides gaming journalism, I think we need to be a watchdog for gaming industry in general. I there's a lot of corruption, a lot of things have been going on, and I think this has highlighted it quite a bit. you know um Also, I think this is Gamergate. I don't necessarily believe it should be a Gamergate issue, but I believe it has become pretty much a watchdog in general against anti-censorship. That no, you should not be able to censor art. In general, in games, the gaming, no producer or developer should be influenced by any outside source in the sense that, oh, you shouldn't make this game because it's sexist, or you shouldn't make this game because it's anti-religious, or anything like that. I think we need to defend that because I think the moment we start censoring games is the moment games go bad. A lot of people lose their creativity freedom, and I mean, people get offended, but I think that's normal. That sometimes that's supposed to happen. I don't limit creativity. It's pretty much.
So you would say it's already a watchdog?
I would say yes, except there's no actual sense of the, like, there's watchdogs out there that are corporations like nonprofits and stuff like that, but there isn't. It's very unstructured. It's pure consumerism. Consumers. It's just gamers in general. There's no actual physical entity discussing this. It's just things that happen, and it's amazing that like-minded individuals all come together and start pointing this out just using a hashtag. So yeah, it's a watchdog, but the sense is not the traditional watchdog. There's no organization or any financial backing running this at all. I think it's the ultimate watchdog if you really think about it. You know.
All right. And what do you think the future holds for Gamergate?
Oh, I guess that goes back to that second. I think the future, it needs to keep on going. It can't disappear, because again, we need to keep a lookout on the media, and we have to keep protecting free speech. In video games. It, we unfortunately in the past we didn't really concentrate on that too much, and we've let it go over and over, and we've seen what happens as gamers when we let our hobby just completely get influenced by outside influences, and we didn't say anything, we didn't do anything, we just let it be till it got to a boiling point, and all these little things just kept adding up till finally there was an explosion in the gaming community. And I think we've learned from this, and we have to keep doing this, and I believe that is the future of gaming, Gamergate.
All right, you see it kind of being the same as it is now, or you
I
think it's gonna
definitely
morph into something else?
I keep thinking it's gonna stay like this more. I think there is gonna be a lot of camaraderie, like a lot of people who are gonna build strong friendships with other people and whatnot. I definitely can see maybe in the future there being a GamerGate convention. I definitely could see something like that happening. I mean, right now with all the meetups that are going on, I can see this leading up to something even bigger. Even possibly, you never know, maybe an award ceremony of some sort, recognition of good gaming journalism, or to like awards to game developers who've made awesome games, or something like that, or a convention of some sort eventually. I can see that happening. Other than that, I really don't know what the future holds. And again, that's just something I can see possibly happening, but there's no rumor or anything like that happening.
All right. And what would be, if you could change one thing in GamerGate, what would it be, or improve upon?
I, it's, I don't know. Like, I mean, there were some things I had some complaints about in the beginning, which was for gamer being such an international thing. I feel like we didn't reach out. It has, though. It has reached internationally, but I don't think it reached the point that we couldn't touch. We could have touched much more globally with other people. I know there's a strong influence from South America and Europe, but I felt like we didn't really expand what's exactly going around to enough people around the world. I think that's my issue. Again, though, I'm not saying there's not a lot of international gamers and they're not involved in GamerGate. I just think it could have become a lot much more bigger if we were able to target that group of other people out there, because a lot of people miss that information or are misinformed in that sense.
All right. And what do you think is the main thing it's doing right at the moment?
I think the right thing, especially with the SPJ debate, I think that is something ultimately all GamerGate wanted, was a place to have discussion and dialogue, especially with the opposing side. And I really hope, I know people are like, oh, we should put Anita or something else. And I think that would be cool, but I think it needs to be the journalists, the people from Kotaku, Polygon, and all of them to be there on that panel. That's what I'm thinking. Uh, you know, I don't know if that answers your question or not, but
No, it's just you can answer it however you want. Um, and what have you been doing in the hashtag itself?
okay. Well, I unfortunately, like I said, I'm not like very vocal into it. What I do a lot is retweet, especially when there's operations going around. I posted on the Facebook group that I'm part of, Otros. I retweet things on Twitter that I think it's very important in GamerGate. Anytime there's an operation going on, I definitely blast that around. Um, so I do that. I'm in part of that sense. I also send emails consistently out, and letters to companies and whatnot. I've donated money, but I'm pretty much trying to spread as much information about GamerGate around as I can. Yeah.
All right. And let's see. I don't see any questions from the chat. Is there anything you wanna, any subject you wanna touch before we close down this thing?
Yeah, that was fast. Let me see. Well, I think people are getting content, and we cannot stop doing that. We have to keep being active. We need to keep our eyes open. We need to keep dialogue going on. We just can't stop. I think a lot of people are being content for that reason. Um, Also, I think these meetups are a great tool, and I think people need to keep pushing for these kind of things, because it's nice. It's nice when you meet a bunch of other people and you have that reinforcement there. Also, I think we need to keep stressing GamerGate is apolitical. It's not right or left, and I think people are forgetting that a lot. And it's been the conversation narrative has been pushed a lot that from the general public now it's a right wing movement, which is not true. I mean, I'm personally somewhat conservative, but most of the people I've run into are actually pretty liberal. I think we got to keep reminding people, hey, it's not a right wing movement at all. You know, and again, you don't have to be active in Twitter or anything, but I think just spreading the information around, letting people know what's going on, is very important, especially about issues not necessarily about video game, and you wouldn't necessarily have to use it about the GamerGate tag. But if you see something like we've seen what's been happening with comics and some movies and whatnot, point out the hypocrisy. Point out, look what they're saying, what they're doing. They're doing the complete opposite of what they stand for. Show what the other what SJWs and a lot of these ideologist people are pushing for, and they do the complete opposite of what they talk about. Don't be afraid. Protect yourself though, of course. But if you stay quiet, completely. You can be anonymous. The internet's a great tool for that. You don't really have to show your face or your real name, but keep spreading the message. Show people, hey, this is a serious issue. Because honestly, Gamergate, I take that back. There is something wrong with Gamergate is still shown in general consensus in the media and popular culture that we are a hate movement, and we're not. We all know this, and until we don't put that fight or keep going on, it's never going to end. And I just want to leave it with this. I honestly believe Gamergate can't die. It's a little spark of fire that can just keep on growing, and it may sometimes get smaller, but it'll just burst right open. Because honestly, these people are going to keep giving ammunition about everything they do and how they attack video game culture and our hobbies. We
Uh,
cannot stop. You know.
yeah, I got some questions now.
Oh,
From Magic Bubblehead, why in modern day communication is so hard when you're in disagreement with someone else? Well, I think this is towards your answer on how you want more people all over the world and are disagreeing with anti-GG.
yeah. I think the problem is it's the internet. It's great in the sense that we're able to talk with so many people and whatnot. But I think and especially what would happen is that there's a lot of gaming communities in general had their little own pockets. We had like the people who are really into consoles. We have people that are really into PC or like certain RPG fans and stuff. So we never had this like catalyst to unite us all together. And obviously, GamerGate's done that. But but what I felt is that whole thing that we were lacking about communication globally was I don't think we did enough to reach out like in the forums how they have for like PC gamers only and for the forums about gamings for certain consoles or mod community. There's a lot of forum and groups out there that are like Spanish that I know of that I don't think the issue of Gamergate got really discussed in any of them or were brought up. Um, Now, again, I know there's people from Mexico and from South America who are involved in Gamergate, but I didn't see any of these forums or a lot of these issues being discussed in those popular areas where there's Spanish speaker forums and whatnot. So I think that is a hard, and how do you discuss that and how do you get that out is a good question, and I really don't have the answer to. No, I know I tried translating some of the memes when they first came out, but I don't think it got a lot of traction. Again, maybe they're just not, they don't care, or maybe I just didn't do a good enough job doing that. Um, but yeah, I think that's really important. We have to keep that idea open, trying to reach out to the international community. Maybe translate stuff or something like that, because not everyone speaks English.
Yeah, I also got another question. What got you started in video gaming?
What?
From fan G-ification.
I'm sorry. Maybe I don't understand the question. You're asking what?
Or how you got into gaming, I think
Oh,
is.
gaming.
Uh,
I got a Nintendo, Super Nintendo. No, sorry, Nintendo. It was Duck Hunter. So I was a little kid, so I started playing into gaming. At that point, and I've been playing games since then. And besides playing video games, I play tabletop games, card games. I've loved video games my whole life. I don't want to say it's part of my identity, but it's a big part of my life. I've been part of it since I was a kid, since I was like 7, 8 years old. You know, um, and my biggest gaming, I guess I call it an addiction, is MMOs. I love playing MMOs. I played Final Fantasy. I've played Rift. I've played WoW a little bit. I played EverQuest. Played Ultima. So MMOs have been a big part of my gaming. I started playing MMOs when I was 12 years old. So, I mean, I've been playing video games for a very long time, and since I was a kid, since I remember my Nintendo, I'll never forget it. To this day, I remember how I had to blow in the cartridges. Cannot forget that enough.
Me too. And favorite hot pocket flavor?
Very hot pocket flavor, mozzarella and cheese and meatballs.
Yeah,
That's
that's from Evildoer. Yeah, and from fan G-ification. Again, he to an answer you had. I kind of agree with him. I don't think he says the media will never give Gamergate a fair shake, and I kind of agree. Just look at the ABC hit piece and all the media doing all the hit pieces on.
oh, we're always going to be the villains. That's not that's no without a doubt. But I think the point of this debate is really important to have, because we're going to show a lot of people already. There's people that have already made their decisions. Okay, we do not have a way to really show people, hey, this is not what's going on besides Twitter and maybe social media. We've never been able to express, hey, this is not what we're about, what we can and can't do. I think this debate will be able to show that. Now, will it change the media? Probably not. They'll probably still hate us and dislike us. But it's going to reach out to a lot of people who aren't aware exactly what Gamergate was, or they had a misconception. I mean, you can look at Reddit on Kotaku in action. You'd be surprised at how many people have changed their opinion of Gamergate after they started following the Twitter and started looking at the sites and seeing the information and seeing the battles that happen on Twitter. You know, when they start seeing that, they actually change their opinion of Gamergate, and some of them either start going neutral or they completely have a different opinion and they end up joining the Gamergate cause. So any way or any possibility was to spread what Gamergate is about ethics and journalism, is a victory. Even if it's tiny, it just grows. And as long as there's one person who might blog and that person has 10 people, that's 10 people that are going to know about Gamergate. And then those 10 people might share it with their friends or might tell someone. So it's going to spread. Now, will we ever be accepted in the sense of media? I have no idea. And I honestly probably not. But again, that might change over time. And truthfully, I don't think Gamergate will ever die. It's like I said, it's a fire. You can't take it out, no matter what you do. As long as there's an ember, there's just one person still talking about it. It's not gonna stop. And I don't think the media should be our concern. I think it's about reaching those people who don't really know, do not have all the information on Gamergate. And I think that's exactly what the debate's gonna do if it goes through.
And Magic Bubble had again asked a question: why people tend to rely on a figure of authority from GG and anti-GG, path of least resistance, maybe?
Um, honestly, I think when you start screaming out sexist, misogynist, and things like that, people get afraid. No, those are really bad words if you really think about it. And I think it's human nature. It's natural to freak out. Oh, I don't want to be late. I don't think anybody wants to be labeled a sexist or misogynist or a racist. You know, nobody wants that. So like, oh, these guys must be it. Cause and that. And then when you have these people that are publicly, there's a face tied to it, and people are emotionally moved more than logic or rationale. Unfortunately, people are usually moved very by emotional, by sympathy. That's the greatest tool that a lot of marketing people use. That's gonna happen. So a lot of these people who are very anti-GG foreheads, they talk about the crimes that have happened to them, the harassment, the torture and the pain they've gone. You're gonna start feeling empathy for them, and you're gonna assume, and they're gonna say how these people are homophobics and sexist and racist, and how they want to destroy women. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, they're absolutely horrible. They're absolutely right. They have to be. I mean, poor them. So again, it plays a lot of expense, and a lot of these people really know how to talk. Um, I'm not saying none of these people have ever been harassed, because it happens. Everyone gets harassed on the internet, but I think that's what happens. So you start having that favor for people, and a lot of these people, a lot of the ones that have had support, they had support even from the beginning, because there's a lot of fandoms, and that happens. I mean, if you're very popular, you're very popular within your community. Your community is going to go out and start supporting. And a lot of these people have had this strong community. They've had these kind of campaigns against other mediums. We've seen it in comics, in fiction books, and we even saw in Atheism Plus. When you have that community already built, you have that. I guess I hate to say the word army, but you have an army supporting you that can help you spread the word even more. So when that happens, it's really an organized group of people attacking a non-organized group. Don't forget, Gamergate is completely disorganized and chaos. We have some structure in the sense that we have a feel for each other and we know how to react around one another. But in the beginning, it was just a reaction to what they were doing and saying to us, and what was going on with journalism, you know. So I think because of that, we've never had a central figure. No one can really amount to that on our side. So that's never going to happen. It's always easier to follow one person leading, saying a word, than it is to follow just random strangers. Sorry for the rant.
No, it's okay. What was it? Yeah, Mr. Fibble. What breed of dog do you have?
I have an American Bulldog.
All right. Here from Polly. Being labeled sexist and racist is extremely dangerous, and the bad guy are using these at full forces, and anti-GG are basically using bio and chemical weapon in war. Do you agree with this?
I think it is. I mean, that's why I have my name, which thank God is very common where I live. But I try not to keep my personal information on the internet too much, because I could lose my job if someone says something like that. People's quality of life, their income source, their life, their food, their shelter can completely be destroyed, as we've seen. So yeah, it's a dangerous word, and I also think it's also dangerous in the same thing because it's being completely desensitized. It's being used for the stupidest shit, and the people who really are like that, the bigots, the sexists, the misogynists that are actually out there, that are ones that actually try to cause harm. When they're gonna be used on, you're gonna be like, oh, what's the big deal? What's going on? It's gonna be so desensitized. It's not gonna really what it means. I think that's even a bigger danger, because in the future, what's gonna happen when we go, well, sexist? Oh, what did he do? He pissed someone off? No, he's gonna actually be a sexist, and everyone's just gonna take light of it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And I think, yeah, here, Magic Bubblehead. Does different race smell different to you?
I don't know. I don't really go around smelling different races. I mean, I think if you want to talk about like certain groups of people use certain colognes different from other people, maybe like in South America, they might have different fragrances, like using fruits and stuff, from like people up in Canada, because it's not the same, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't smell people, man.
And from Polly Polly again. What do you think of organizations like that guy with the glasses having so many anti-Gamergate people? Since you talked about online groups with its army.
Who exactly are you talking about with glasses? There's a lot of people with glasses.
Yeah, I should probably ask him. Who are you referring to? But there's a slight delay from the stream to what they're actually hearing here. Otherwise, I have another. What's the meaning of life?
The meaning of life, it depends who you ask. There's religious, there's philosophy, so it depends on the individual. I really think so. And
well, I think Micro put it pretty well. It's 42.
Okay, all right.
It's from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
No, I've seen the movie and read the book.
Todd in the Shadow, pedophile Dan Olsen. I don't know who that is. Oh, he used Jew Warrior's death against us. That's the guy.
Yeah, I think that's fucked up. It's again, I mean, what can I say? Again, when people have that kind of backing, first of all, it goes to their head, so they think they're invincible, and they're gonna do whatever the hell they want, and they feel like they can't get touched. And unfortunately, sometimes it falls on them. We've seen it happen, with a couple of people that were anti-Gamergate, and it's horrible that they use that. And I don't self-censor, but I think people need to be aware. Be careful what you say, because or what you do, because sometimes it's gonna have reactions, and
repercussions.
Yeah, repercussions. Sorry, and that obviously happens, So.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and all those people who retweeted and favored Todd in the shadow comments regarding Jew Warrior. Yeah, those are douchebags. Unless there are more questions, I'm gonna close down this thing. Yeah, it's been a few questions. That's been going 23 minutes now. So
okay. Well, I mean, thanks for having me, guys. You guys have any questions outside Twitter? You can.
I put it in the comment or in the description. So if they want to reach you, they can always contact you at Fiddy85. I put it in there.
I just want to do a shout out to all my buddies at GamerGate Ultras too. You guys are amazing, and to the rest of my GamerGaters, you guys be safe, and keep doing the good work. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Well, thank you for coming on. You're welcome to come into my stream anytime. So I say that to everyone coming in here.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, and I'm gonna see you guys next time who've been watching. So bye, everyone.